One of my friends was doing East Asia in Delhi University. It was a very well-funded department. I randomly visited her one day and I liked her teachers who were all like Ivy League educated professors. I thought this is good, and they had great scholarships. So I one day took a leave and I sat for the entrance and cleared it. I got through the interview round as well, and I decided to leave my job at India Today. My boss didn't accept the resignation. He gave me a whole lecture on, you're doing journalistic suicide, what are you doing, and, how many people want to be in your position in like a newsroom like this and all of that. What good lecture. It's like, you just starting, what are you doing? It's like, if you have to go and study, at least go outside, at least go to London, at least go to US. You're going to Delhi University, who does that? Leaving this job and you're going to Delhi University. Supportive at that point of time, but I was like, I feel like I need to do this. And I left. And I started off my journey as an academic person where I'm trying to learn international relations. I started learning Chinese, and I did very well. Like, language was my strong suit, so I did very well in Chinese. In my first semester, I got a scholarship to go to China and US. And that was again great exposure for me because I met so many diplomats. In fact, one of the diplomats I met was Jay Shankar, who was a new ambassador to China at that point of time. I met the US ambassador to China. I met so many, I went to a lot of Chinese ministries. I interviewed so many diplomats. So that was an exposure to another level where I thought, what is happening with my life? This is very interesting. I never planned this. Where did I start? Where did I land? It was a great experience. Then I presented my report in Washington, D.C., where, Johns Hopkins School of International Studies was there. I came back and I was like, I was like, for a week, I was like, what happened with me just now, like this is...
This was for how many months or years you were there?
No, this was like a research trip for which they paid everything. And they took us around to all the places where stakeholders were in
For
US and
months?
in China. This was maximum a month. So, and preparing the report and going and presenting. But it was a full action-packed, a month where continuous meetings are happening. You're like getting exposure to a lot of things. So I came back and I decided I'll finish my university here in Delhi and then apply again for a scholarship. And that's what I did. Finished my master's, applied for a UN scholarship, UNESCO fellowship, which I got. And I went to China to study advanced Chinese. And after that, I ended up staying there. While I was there, I got hired by Cheetah Mobile, ByteDance as an early first employee in those companies because they were very keen on investing in India. So they wanted to build something for India. And I was, I was from media background. I knew Chinese. I sort perfect candidate. I like all the checklists that they had. I filled like all of those. And it was again great experience, and during that time I used to host a lot of events for entrepreneurs in Beijing. So Startup Grinds Beijing chapter I ran for almost 2.5 years. And again, we were the most active chapter globally. So we were given an award also for doing an event every week. And during that time, I met a lot of Indian entrepreneurs who would come to Beijing to learn about Chinese ecosystem, to meet Chinese investors, to learn about ByteDance because I was working in ByteDance. In fact, one of my partners today, Giriraj, had sent me a cold LinkedIn message that, I'm coming to China with my startups, please, meet me. And several attempts later, I met him because I used to be like into multiple things. So I could never find time for everything.
So ByteDance is the TikTok
parent company, correct. So I had joined it before TikTok was an international thing. It was like there was just a win in China. So 2017 I had joined. And at that point of time, they didn't have a big India team, and they didn't have an India team. So yeah, we were actually working on multiple products to be launched in India, TikTok being one of them, right? So I think all of these experiences were so different from each other, but I think that's why I got a lot of experience of working in different areas and meeting so many different people. And that today helps me being an investor, because I know that kind of exposure people don't have, that understanding, those nuances of business. It's one thing to read numbers in a business, but it's another thing to know the people behind it and the work that goes behind it. You know, number tum kuch bhi dikha sakte ho. I used to see this in China also, when startups used to come to me. There also I used to mentor a lot. But people would come and quote any number, like we will do this and we'll do that. But I was always interested, because I was on execution side, on operation side. So I used to be like, how will you do this? So explain me that part. So till today, I'm very interested in when people tell me that they will do something or they quote numbers, I want to go a little deeper as to, okay, how? Right? So I think that journey led me to being an investor. You know, ultimately, when I transitioned from China, and I had a good network in India, and I got locked in India, like I had come to visit, lockdown happened, I couldn't go back. So I was like, okay, you know, now I need to figure something out for myself. Because 1-2 months I didn't do anything, because I was just waiting that, you know, maybe things will get better. Maybe I will get to have a flight.
Was the reason or the cusp at the...
That was there, and I thought I was in between like China and US at that point of time, that I was like, I could go to US also, I could go to China also. I was still sort of not completely decided, but I thought that if things do get better, I was sure that maybe my experience would be more relevant outside of India. That was my thinking at that point of time. But yeah, when I realized it's not getting better, I reached out to my network. I got multiple job opportunities. I got multiple opportunities to partner up and be a founder with someone. So I think this idea of starting an investors network, because I had done networks before, I had done communities before. I thought this is something, it's right down my alley. Maybe I don't know investing that well, but I can learn it.
On the job.
You know, on the job. So I think that's how this journey sort of began.
So We Found a Circle was founded at that point in time?
Yeah.